Aloha, everyone. This is Amanda Ibanez, our community first from Amanda from Kalihi Palama, longtime advocate. And I wanted to introduce someone really important today is Sage, and he's from CERENE, which is a program of Kapiolani Community College. And I believe you have someone to your left that you wanted to introduce.
Aloha, Kako. To my left is Honuaina Nichols, also part of the CERENE Sustainability Lab out at KCC, and with the Oahu Resilience Hub Learning Community.
Aloha nui, happy to be here. All right. I believe we have some presentation about disaster emergency response, how important that is, and the hub community that you folks have been working really hard for the people of Hawai'i to get us prepared when things happen, like tsunamis, any kind of natural disaster, Lahaina fires, the Kona lows, hurricanes, or any kind of emergency response for the community to know what to do, how to engage, what are the resources, especially for like shelters or food supplies, such as that. So we're going to have some slides, I believe, that you have prepared for today, and I think we're going to talk over them, right? Okay.
So mahalos for having us here today to discuss a little bit about community resilience, but also the Oahu Resilience Hub Learning Community, or the HLC as we call it for short. And what it is a community of practice dedicated to supporting the development of resilience hubs here on Oahu, as well as connecting that ecosystem of resilience that surrounds them. And our mission is to support individual hubs, micro networks, and regions, so from small individual hubs to entire ahupuas and mokus, in coordinated learning and sharing best practices for community resilience. And you might be thinking, what maybe exactly is a hub? And from our definition, it is a trusted gathering site or a group of people that supports everyday community resilience, and during a disruption, they activate to support a coordinated response. From one of our key project resilience hub leads, he defined this more simply as 6 people who care, 6 people with kuleana, and the rest is really just equipment. You can be actively serving your community in many more ways than this, but these are just some examples to maybe get you thinking of what your group may be already doing in your community. But just by having people and volunteer, that's huge. They could either support everyday programs, they might be providing preparedness kits and supplies for the community. They may be facilitating emergency pop-ups, or even having a place or a site. This could be large or small, and even virtual, to have these discussions with the community, or just to have community activities. And the next graphic is an example of how you can be either a hub group or a hub site. We kind of separated these into 2 different groups, a hub group and a hub site. Both respond to local disruption with a plan, but on the left is a picture of just a hub group, more basics, just people with a plan. See, it looks like they're maybe posted up at a park during a disruption, and they just have a couple supplies there, maybe a medical kit or some sort of solar battery. And the hub site on the right is another example of what a site might provide, either a community garden, and during a disruption, they may be giving out food to their community, or they have water catchment systems where they can provide water, clean waters through the community, but also just a place to convene. And the Hub Learning Community, the Oahu Resilience Hub Learning Community, is a joint program co-coordinated by the Lahui Foundation of Laie and the CERENE Sustainability Lab, the Community Engagement for Resilient Neighborhoods out of Kapiolani Community College. And this started from work off of City and County Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency Action 15 project, which just identified over 50 ways that Oahu can be more resilient in their communities. These are some of the relationships and community partners we've built through the journey. This is a huge list from local neighborhood level to city, state, and county-wide. HAIMA, DEM, Office of Climate Change, CCSR, Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency, as well as the food bank and nonprofits like Vibrant Hawaii.
So the Hub Learning Community aims to support hubs by fostering continuous learning, build cross-sector partnerships through monthly gatherings, strengthen and coordinate working groups, expand island-wide education and outreach, elevate intergenerational leadership and engagement, connecting hubs to each other with partners through trainings, certifications, funding, and distributing resources. And then overall, building a sense of community and belonging for our hubs. This is new. And so the Hub Learning Community, we are a community of practice. In comparison to Vibrant Hawai'i Resilience Network, which is a coordinated network in response, the community of practice is coordinated learning and sharing of best practices with one another, and coordinated actions and emergency response more so for a coordinated network. To dive deeper a little bit into that, for the community of practice, the Hub Learning Community supports individual hubs, right? Micro networks and regions. The Hub Learning Community does not activate hubs during disruption. The hubs themselves can self-activate based on their plan, and the Hub Learning Community supports hubs development in blue skies. The Hub Learning Community leadership team also shapes decisions for the larger full Hub Learning Community membership to vote on at our monthly gatherings. In comparison to a coordinated network in an emergency response, this is required of top-down directed network during a disaster. They activate the network in emergency altogether. They use the same templates and communication protocols as us with network-level decisions. They do drills and decision-making for swift coordinated action when we actually do get into a disaster. The overall coordinated network is led by a network coordinator. And so for a better visualization of what resilience hubs can look like in response mode, so the community of practice has this kind of makavalu web look to it, where the hubs self-activate following their plan, or micro networks can self-activate, however they best understand themselves internally. Then we look at the coordinated network, where these hub groups and sites can create coordinated action for an ultimately larger network regional plan, whether that be at a network level or locally. And this is another look at how the Hub Learning Community supports hubs island-wide throughout all of Oahu, and Vibrant Hawai'i has been establishing and supporting Ko'olauloa and Ko'olaupoko in those regions with their Ko'olau network. Really amazing work that they've been doing. And so if you are interested, we have a quick moment to scan this QR code. If you want to become an individual member of the Hub Learning Community, if you sign this QR code, you'll receive invitations to our monthly virtual gatherings. You'll have access to practical tools, templates, and best practices from other Hub Learning Community members that will share from their experiences. Opportunities to learn. So every month we try to have guest speakers or some sort of certification, or even our own Hub Learning Community members speak. You will also gain access to connection to the Oahu ecosystem of hub support. You'll gain early access to funding opportunities, the participation in collective efforts to align with policy and programs, and then ultimately our working groups. We have a number of working groups that you guys can join as members and with your community. That is really a generative process that we try to do, so meet monthly and create plans from there. Another great visual of the COP. So ultimately, we are working to grow into this. We'll have groups for just the resilience hubs. We'll have an advisory council. We currently have a leadership team, which is representatives from each planning region. Then you have us, the Hub Learning Community Program co-coordinators, and our staff, our working groups that we've discussed. We also have next generation leaders, which is a really amazing opportunity for them, working towards getting a cultural advisory council established, and then our general members. And then another quick moment to scan a QR code and sign up your Resilience Hub. So that first one was for you to sign up yourself as a member, and then we need you to sign up your hub site itself. Resilience hubs who sign up will receive invitations to monthly virtual gatherings. You get an invite to our annual Oahu Resilience Hub Summit, which we just had our first, and it was fabulous. You'll gain access to practical tools, templates, best practices, opportunities to learn from guest speakers, experts, connection to the Oahu network of peer hubs, increased visibility and recognition by establishing yourself as a resilience hub, more access to funding opportunities, participation in collective efforts, and then additionally, the Resilience Corps student leaders, we will offer you one, to increase your capacity. Of CERENE shared interns, also increase capacity. Kupuna climate members to increase your capacity for your plan. Invitees for upcoming trainings that we are working to create more for you. And then our fall 2026 learning cohort invite. So if you sign up, you'll get access to all of these amazing resources.
This is the current state of resilience hubs here on Oahu. And from the left is the community of practice view versus the action and ready organization from Vibrant Hawaii, which we do model from as the Oahu Hub Learning Community. And the community of practice, right now we're holding monthly meetings, and it is member voting. So you have the opportunity to vote on what trainings you guys need in your area, as well as make more decisions on how this develops. So as community, you can, even just a member, you can have voting rights and help develop this network. And in the middle is some of our shared roles from Vibrant Hawaii as well as the HLC. This year, they helped co-facilitate the Oahu Resilience Hub Summit at Camp Palihua, as well as we have resource sharing and training promotion between both of us. So you get opportunity to train with Vibrant Hawaii, but as well as the HLC. And monthly meetings, communicating between each other is really, really big here. So this is the status of hubs on Oahu, or that are in our hub learning community. And we are also trying to establish new hubs and support new hubs that want to be in the community. We have 14 on Ko'olau that are operated or started through Vibrant Hawaii, but here on Oahu on east side, as well as we have 18 brand new hubs that have established through the hub learning community itself. So we are open to emerging hubs and trying to find where we can support you in your ahupua'a, in your neighborhood. Some of the trainings that we offer, these are seasonal, are the psychological first aid with Deborah Barber. This is a really good one, especially for disaster management. And the next one is first aid and CPR. So this was right here by KCC, and we actually took a lot of students out from the CERENE hub to get their first aid and CPR certification. That was through American Red Cross. And CERT and CERT, or Community Emergency Response Training with the Department of Emergency Management. This is 3 days. It's pretty intensive, but it is super useful, and you get to spend the last day on a practical in the bunker. So it's a really cool opportunity to check out Diamond Head Side and the historical bunker, as well as CERENE Keiki Resilience Training. So these are some trainings we went out to elementaries, and they got to actually write what their ideal resilience hub would be. So that middle graphic is actual drawings from students, Keiki.
This is an exciting announcement. We are offering mini grants, or our Ili'ili community mini grants, for folks who sign up their hubs. They're $50 to $250 grants to support any climate conversation, whether you want to have food and discuss with your community what that plan is, maybe identifying needs, or just discussing what climate impacts your community is facing. Whatever will help to seed that conversation, we have a link for you to sign up. Please do so. It's a fabulous way to just seed and continue to grow this conversation. So that's our Ili'ili community grants. And as mentioned, we do have monthly virtual hub gatherings. Our upcoming meeting is on July 23rd at 3 p.m. We'll actually be having Mo from Vibrant Hawaii at our Oahu Resilience Hub Summit. Vibrant Hawaii came and partnered with us, and they were working with their CEAP models, or their Climate Emergency Action Plans. And so to continue that conversation, Mo will be returning back to finish up those modules. So it'll be a really exciting conversation if it's your first time. And this is a quick moment for our Oahu Resilience Hub Summit video that one of our Resilience Corps leaders had made. It was at Camp Palihua. It was me and Dr. Miku who were facilitating, and we had brought up mostly a lot of our new hubs at Camp Palihua, and we had
conversation. We had the CEAP model. We had Otelina Pasi from Hawai'i Foundation also helping to facilitate. She shared on her experiences with the Kona low storms. And then we ended up actually visioning together. So the community of practice is a community of visioning and community design together. So everyone who becomes a member has equal autonomy and agency in creating what this looks like. Every year, I think the Hub Learning community will continue to change because of the members who are in it. And so as it continues to grow, it'll be great.
And this is our new website. It is up. We just wanted to invite your hui and yourselves to join the Hub Learning community and the Hub network. And you could check out our website for more information. And just a big mahalo to you guys taking the time. Mahalo to Alelo and Amanda for having us here today.
Of course. We're going to have a little bit discussion now because that was a lot of information. You guys have been super busy. And I wanted to go over, and we were talking about this earlier, Sage, how we met. We met in Kalihi Valley. I believe it was at Keiki-o-Ka'aina.
Yeah.
Right? And the discussion there at the time, this was I think about a year ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
About a solid year ago. This was about if they or any other organization, nonprofit, for-profit, or even church groups would be willing to be a resource hub. And you went over that in the video as well, a resource hub. And there's many different types of resource hubs. And I believe Keiki-o-Ka'aina, they have food supply. They have like how to plant and their cultural practicing deep in Kalihi Valley. Not a lot of people know that, but that's what's going on in Kalihi Valley as well. Can you expand a little bit on what is the different types of resource hubs and why that's important and how that's linking up to emergency response?
Yeah. That Keiki-o-Ka'aina was, they have a beautiful space and they're actually expanding it to include, I think, a hale as well as more food resources, like almost like a biocultural forest. So out there, what we discussed, actually, that was over a year ago. It was probably my introduction into community emergency management resilience like this. But we did discuss how each hubs were similar, or each ahupuas were similar but different. So a lot of people from Waianae there, a lot of people from Kalihi Valley there. And we had a lot of topics of similarity come up, like community needs, education needs, as well as the resources. Could be anything from food to basic toiletries that people need, especially during a disaster. But we kind of identified a lot of similarities there too. And that's why the HLC is member voting and not top down, so they can include what their ahupua or what their neighborhood might need. It's more inclusive, and we keep our definition a little bit more broad so we can encompass that as well.
I like that. Keeping it broad and keeping it open to allow more people in. And again, this is about emergency response. And I like to talk about this too, because this was on the slide of CERT, Certified Emergency Response Team Member. And in order to get that credential, you have to get trained. What's happening here? Because there's a lot of things going on in these slides. CERT, DEM classes, like what is that? You know, we're talking to people of Hawaii and we're trying to get them to understand what these concepts are, what's going on, why is this important, what these acronyms mean, and where exactly is this happening? Let's start off there.
Yeah, this is actually all over. So the top left is in their underground office. It's downtown, and there's no cell reception because it's completely underground. But they take you through 2 days, 8 hours of training. It's pretty intensive, like I said. You got to really key in and go along with them as they're going through. And that's the first 2 days. The right and the bottom is at Battery Harlow. So that's their practical, their third day. And it's only about 4 hours, but it's fully immersive. So they take you into a super dark room. You're able to put you through different scenarios of what might happen in like a search and rescue type of situation. They actually teach you, this was started from Katrina actually.
Oh,
so it's the same.
Katrina.
Yeah, it's the same tactics that they kind of used during Katrina, a little bit more adapted for modern time too. But if you go back and look at the X's on doors of Katrina, with the number time in, number time out, how many people were there, this is what they train you to do. And they do DM does a really great job of this.
That is DEM stands for what again?
Department of Emergency Management.
Department of Emergency Management, and that is a city and county function, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and I see that you're wearing gear, like some kind of hard hat and mask, and there's a vest that you're wearing. Do you have walkie-talkies? Do you get to utilize any of the equipment? Do they train you on any of that as well?
They do through basically what we had on our vests, our hard hats. We had to have fireproof gloves, pants, closed-toed shoes, the helmets. Everything was pretty immersive. There are things that we could get a little bit more into, like tourniquet training, but it's just not enough time, really, honestly, in even those 3 days to go over everything so fully. So you can take it multiple times and get certified multiple times. They have trainings monthly, so it's a really good opportunity to refresh, but also ask them if you have more questions in specific training you might need.
Oh, yeah.
They're there.
I went on the training as well, and they really go over fires and floods and how you're supposed to respond to that. First aid training when a person seems to be passed out, CPR. So they had some nurses that were on staff. They had some paramedics that were on staff too. They had some people from the ambulance that was on staff and some retired firefighters. So they helped to walk people through what is safe, what do you engage with? Because you're right. When you're in the bunker, going back to the bunker situation, when you're in the bunker and allegedly the case scenario is, there was a fire that was burning, and now you got to put that X on the door. Your time in goes on the top, right? And then you know who your partner is. You're always entering in with a partner. If you have a radio, you're trained on how to utilize the radio, because then, the base, the person that you're leaving from to go inside that house, everybody knows where you're at as well. Because, and again, there's a lot of things going on in this conversation. Like, people are hearing this for the first time on TV, right? When this gets played, there's a lot of concepts and a lot of things going on. But the main objective here, what we're trying to train people and have people know, is that the community, you're community-based. You're trying to get the community involved in what it means to survive, to help. We are the community when something happens, right? We are the people, your family, your friends, your neighbors. You're the ones that are going to step in first and foremost. You know what things are happening as things are unfolding. And everything that you're training people on and the website and how important your organization is, the Hawai'i Foundation, everyone, civil defense, DEM, HIEMA, they're all resources. 911, when you call 911, well, they will ask you, is this ambulance, police, or fire? So you have 3 options. But a lot of people don't know this. And in part 2 for today, we'll get into it a little bit more. A lot of people don't know this. When there's an emergency, like my family's been through Kona fires. The Kona Lows and the Lahaina fires. My family both impacted, and I responded to both. But I, for one, know on ground zero, when things are unfolding, it's your family, it's your neighbors, it's your community that will step up first because you're there as it's happening, right? 911, when somebody's passed out at the dinner table, you're not like, oh my God, you're rushing to help them. And then they train you with CERT, like somebody stops, somebody call the cops, call the police or ambulance, somebody get a first aid kit. They're teaching you how to allocate, how to survive this moment, how this person in front of you, either a person or a situation, what you need to do in order to survive that moment, and I also want to circle back to the psychological training, the PTSD, because a lot of people don't talk about this part, but the majority of it, this is good, right? Your psychological first aid training. If anybody that is watching this right now, see that QR code, that is super important to have. That's like training right there. That's like training 101 to be able, willing, and capable of taking care of somebody else, taking care of yourself. You think you're ready until it really happens, and you're like, holy smokes, a fire. How many people, even now, with this on the screen, see accidents happen on the freeway, see accidents happen on the street. And when things happen, I can see it. You can even watch it on the videos that people have on YouTube, on IG and Facebook. You see a whole lot of people, the shock of something just happened, and they're processing it. What do I need to do? What do I need to do for myself? How do I help this person? I want to help, but I'm busy, there's blood. There's so many things that could be happening in that moment of time. That person could be passed out. Should I start CPR? Does that person have a heart pacemaker? I don't know. So there's all these things that need to be done as an emergency, whether it's personal or a larger disaster is happening, psychological training, because firefighters, firemen, or any nurses, doctors, people in the field, and I've had to be a first responder myself as well. There will be moments, you will have moments where you're like, wow.
Yeah, I think you actually inspired the psychological first aid one at least a little bit through your discussions, and that's what it helps. We co-build this, and it helps everyone. But those trainings are to be paired with each other, so you get a better concept. Because, like you said, you are the first one in your community and your neighborhood. It's really your family, your neighborhood, your neighbors that you would be responding to if your area were affected by any disaster.
We are at time. Time has gone by fast. As in with every emergency, that is the case. So any final thoughts?
I want to say that our communities are strong naturally. I think if you don't feel that you are strong, or if you don't have expertise, you do. Your lived experience is the expertise, and that's why we're inviting you. The more mana'o that we have, the better, the stronger that we are. It's really Pilina that is going to make us strong. I agree. It's always our communities, our families, our aunties, our uncles that are showing up first. And disruptions are going to happen more and more, and we need to be able to respond to them. I think that there's a lot of motivation to prepare ourselves. And that's what I love about the Hub Learning communities, because there's actually opportunity to resource and empower. One other thing that had brought me to this work was what makes Hawaii special in emergency preparedness is when I say we have strong communities, there's already so many groups that have been doing Resilience Hub work for years, for decades, that have expertise and that have a lot of knowledge. And if there's ways that we can equip you to fill in the gaps, that's what this community is for.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. We're going to wrap it up now. Thank you so much for everybody watching at home. Until we meet again, Amanda Ibanez, Kali Community First. Community First. Aloha.
But